A team of researchers from the University of Oxford, the Global Challenges Foundation and Priorities Global Project recently issued a report entitled Risk Global Catastrophe. In it, they discuss and issue ratings of events that can eliminate 10% or more of the human population within the next 5 years. In fact, the report suggests that a person may have 5 times more likely to die in an extinction event in a car accident. Sebastian Farquhar, director of Global Priorities Project, told the Press Association, "There are some things that are on the horizon, things that probably will not happen in 1 year, but it could happen, which could completely reshape our world and make it a truly devastating and disastrous way. History teaches us that many of these things are more likely than we think intuitively. Many of these risks are changing and growing as technologies change and grow and reshape our world. But there are things we can do about the risks." Isaac Newton predicted the world would end around 2060. Most likely in the near future events include supervolcanoes and asteroid blows. Then there are the disasters related to climate change, natural pandemics, such as avian influenza, biological warfare, and nuclear war. Other risks include virus pandemics caused by man, geoengineering, like adding iron to the world's oceans to absorb atmospheric carbon, and problems with artificial intelligence, AI. Apocalypse. The so-called scientific may be one step to exterminate the human race. Mr. Farquhar says, "What we want to warn about the future, although it is easier and cheaper to do a lot of things in an almost standard way, or order parts, such as a smallpox virus outside internet that can start changing. We have seen that in the field of synthetic biology and genetic manipulation of small organisms or viruses, things like the cost has dropped incredibly in the last decade. That's still too expensive to worry about rogue groups trying to use technology, but that could not be true. A major threat in the future is something that most people do not think. The emergence of artificial intelligence represents a major threat." Mr. Farquhar explains there's really no particular reason to think that humans are the pinnacle of creation and the best thing you can have in the world. It seems conceivable that some AI systems can at some point in the future be able to compete consistently with humans in a lot of different domains, and if you have a sufficiently powerful form of this type of artificially intelligent system, then it could be the case that if your goals do not match the values of humanity, then there could be some sort of adverse consequences. So this does not depend on it becomes aware, does not depend on who hates humanity, it is only a matter of being powerful. Its objectives are opaque or difficult to determine for their creators, and that being somewhat indifferent manner in at least some of the things we find valuable. This may seem a distant science fiction, but it is a controversial concern among some of the brightest minds in the world. In 2014, Stephen Hawking, Elon Musk, Steve Wozniak and hundreds of others issued a letter unveiled at the International Joint Conference warning that artificial intelligence can be potentially more dangerous than nuclear weapons. Bill Gates in 2015 said, "I'm on the field that is concerned about the superintelligence. First, the machines will do a lot of work for us and not be super intelligent. That should be positive if we handle it well." A few decades later, however, intelligence is strong enough to be a concern. I agree with Elon Musk and some others in this and do not understand why some people are not worried. The threat of artificial intelligence is real. The report was not published to scare people, but to ask for cooperation in the international community to implement planning pandemics, prepare health systems, to investigate the risks of biotechnology and artificial intelligence, and to continue reducing the number of nuclear weapons. Alternative 3, the plan of the Illuminati elite survival of the imminent new ice age. Mr. Farquhar summarizes, What is really important to remember is that many of these risks do not stop at borders and wait patiently for their passports to be controlled, are truly global in nature. This is not the sort of thing that a country can say, "Oh, well, we are ready and the rest of the world can defend himself." That's one of the things we saw with the crisis of Ebola, is how this thing was poured over national borders. The report provides a serious view of how humanity is on the brink of extinction and the world community should learn from the risk of an apocalypse. Scary stuff.